Good morning. My name is Weni Trianti Adu, and today I will be presenting my research proposal on the title of Improving English Learning Outcomes Through a Problem-Posing Learning Approach for Junior High School Students. In this presentation, I will discuss the three main components of this proposal. Consists of introduction, theoretical basic, research methods. In introduction, I will discuss about background, formulation of the problem, research objective, research benefits, and term limits. Teaching and learning activities are the core of the entire educational process in schools. The learning process is an activity carried out by students, while the teaching process is what the teacher strives for so that the learning process can take place well. The learning process allows the achievement of education goals in the form of change in attitudes and behavior in students. English lessons are always considered difficult and feared by students so that it has an impact on student learning outcomes. This is because students tend to be less enthusiastic when learning English. One of the effective strategies in creating active and fun learning is, of course, by involving students in teaching and learning activities in the classroom, namely the problem-posing learning approach. Problem-posing learning approach is a learning approach that guides students to make their own question and answer based on statement or example of question made by their teacher. Vitriani 2010 concluding that the problem-posing approach is better significantly than the conventional approach to increasing motivation and learning outcomes. Based on the description on the background, the authors formulate their problems as follows. How are the results of learning English through the problem-posing learning approach to junior high school students? Every job certainly has certain goals and objectives, as well as with preparation of this proposal, which has the aim of knowing the result of learning English with the problem-posing learning approach to junior high school students. 1. Theoretical benefit. Theoretically, the results of this study are expected to contribute to learn English about using the problem-posing learning approach to improve student learning outcomes. And the second, practical benefits. This research is expected to provide benefits for teachers, school, and readers. A. For teachers, as input so that in learning they can choose a learning model that suits the conditions experienced by the student self. And B. For readers, as a reference for future research to improve teaching and learning conditions. To facilitate understanding of this paper, it is necessary to explain or define several terms used in this paper, among others as follows. 1. Learning approach is pattern, rail, learning procedure used so that the objective of learning outcomes can be achieved good. Second, problem posing is learning that requires students to make their own question and answer based on the condition of the problems that have been solved or alternative questions that are still relevant. And the three, learning outcomes are the result achieved in the learning process. In theoretical basis, I will discuss about definition of learning and learning English, learning results, problem posing learning approach, and approach in learning the application of the problem posing learning English. 1. Study. Learning is a change in a person who expresses himself as a new patterns of similar reactions, skill, attitudes, habits, personality, or an understanding. Burton in Aunur Rahman, 2009, 35. Learning is a process carried out by a person to acquire a new behavior as a result of his own experience in interaction with the environment. So, learning is a process to obtain change, and that change is the result of experience. Slameto, 2003, 2. From some of the opinions above, it can be said that learning is an active business process to obtain change in behavior, in knowledge and attitudes through experience and directed activities. Second, learning English. English is a Germanic language first spoken in England in the early Middle Ages and is today the most commonly spoken language worldwide. English is the third most widely spoken mother tongue worldwide. Learning English is very important, especially in terms of education. In education, through English, we can introduce the diversity of culture and language of this nation. English is very much needed in the national and international. 3. Learning. Learning is a planned effort in manipulating learning results so that the learning process occurs in students. The success of learning is highly dependent on the success of the teacher in designing learning materials and learning models used in the learning process where the teacher involves students actively. And 4. Learning English. The principle in learning English is the teacher as one of the designers of the learning process, students as implementers of learning activities, and English as the object studied in this case and one of field of study in learning. Learning outcomes are related to achieving in obtaining capabilities in accordance with the specific purpose plan. Learning outcomes are the abilities the students have after receiving their learning experience. Sujana and 2011-22. A. Internal factors. Internal factors are factors that come from within the individual and can affect individual learning outcomes. Internal factors include psychological factor. B. External factors. External factors are that come from outside the individual that can influence individual learning outcomes, concluding from pattern, school, and communities. Problem is a term in English, namely for the word problem, which means problem, and the word pose, which means to propose. So, problem-posing learning is a learning model that requires students to make their own questions and answer based on the questions given by the teacher. Problem-posing approach provides an opportunity for students to play an active role in studying, searching and finding your own information or data to be processed into concepts, principles, theories, or conclusions. In research methods, I will discuss about research subject, research data, research procedure, and data analysis technique. The subject in this research was the junior high school student. Data type, primary, data collection, observation, and test. The result is a classroom action research with research procedures consisting of several cycles depending on the results of previous cycle reflection, and each cycle consisting of planning, action, observation, and reflection. Qualitative transcription of interviews from students.